Alright, hello and welcome to the 6th episode of the Extreme Exchange. It's been a while, I took a break. But hey, we all do it, so there's a lot of time now. Anyway, these are my friends from school. This is Eliot, and this is Daryl.
Hello.
So, I knew them since Sec 3, and we just ORD'd, so it's been like, what, 2, 4, 6 years? Wow, 6 years. Yeah, okay, so Eliot, my dear friend, studying medicine overseas, and Daryl studying dentistry. So the premise, right, is who's Andrew Tate? And I'll start by saying Andrew Tate is a controversial figure that emerged this year, right? It's a this year thing, and his controversial opinions and takes on social issues are what brought him to fame. A lot of videos circulating of him in like interviews or podcasts or whatever, circulating around social media. And this brought mostly bad attention, I think, but and then of course there's good attention as well. So before this whole ordeal, he was a professional kickboxer, right? World champion. I'd say a pretty respectable career. Yeah. So
3 times.
3 times, yeah. So I premise this entire podcast by saying this. Okay, as with all controversial issues, it can get very heated and go out of control quite easily. Okay, so I'm going to frame the entire discussion like this. Andrew Tate has takes on a lot of things. Okay, he talks about a lot of issues, and no one person is correct 100% of the time. Okay, do we agree on that? And no one person has a sizable following that is also completely wrong 100% of the time. Okay, so I think the right way to go about talking about him is to analyze specific takes that he has, and then see what value there is in that particular take. Okay, just because he's wrong on one issue doesn't mean that he's wrong on all issues. Yeah. Okay, it doesn't mean his other opinions are invalid either, and vice versa. I also want to add that you can agree with Andrew Tate's views on some things without agreeing to everything that he says. Okay, and then, which is a common mistake that most people make. It's like, what, you support Andrew Tate? Ah, shit, it means you agree with every single thing that he said. Oh, and that's a terrible way of dealing with it. Yeah, and finally, for anyone watching, there's limited time on the podcast, okay? And there's an infinite number of things that Andrew Tate has said that we could cover. So if we don't cover something that you wanted to see, then yeah, too bad. You can just ask me in the comments or whatever. Alright. Why do you think Andrew Tate has risen to such popularity in such a short amount of time?
I think there are like 3 or 4 reasons. One, he's very clippable. Okay, he makes sure that he phrases his things in very nice sound bites. Like I think he does it intentionally. I genuinely believe it's intentional. Wow. At first it may not be intentional, but now that he's risen that he's understood the power of how TikTok works and how social media can quote you and make you into a very quotable person. He intentionally phrases his stuff in very nice sound bites that get viral easily.
Wow, that's so.
And also he says things in the most extreme way possible. So yes. the base point may be reasonable, but he uses these crazy.
Like he kind of get away with it, but like at the same time, it's
that was my second point. He's very hyperbolic in the way he talks about stuff.
Yeah.
And the third one is that he's naturally very charismatic, and he talks very fast.
He doesn't stutter.
Yeah, he talks very fast. He's charismatic, and he uses his accent itself already makes him sound. I wouldn't say smart, but
confident.
He sounds confident. So it makes people want to be like him because they see him and they think, damn, he's talking so well, he must know his shit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why people find his points very easy, his talking points they want to repeat it because they want to sound like him. So they use the exact same phrasing and they talk the exact same way because they think that by doing that they can sound like him, and I don't know, maybe they want to emulate him.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I definitely think that he has mastered the art of being clippable.
He's a very good strategist.
The clickbait, literally, he's like if a headline was personified, it'd just be Andrew Tate.
Yeah, and look at
quotes.
Look at how his TikTok vids are like all like. His TikTok videos are always very, like the titles, Andrew Tate on blah blah blah, Tate and then colon and then in quotes whatever he says.
Yeah,
it's like he's so good at making sure that he has something that can easily cut out and put into a clip.
Okay, so I mean, I agree with you on this point, but I also think, right, that not everybody who talks a lot of smack and in such a way can become as successful as him. And I think that it's two-pronged. The first one is the fact that he's so confident, so charismatic, so easily quotable and whatnot. But the second thing I feel is that there is a hunger for his kind of message. As in that's I feel that the Andrew Tate phenomenon is somewhat similar to the Donald Trump phenomenon, which is this whole like a few years ago there was a huge push for feminism and like the breaking down of masculinity and traditional male roles and whatnot.
He says things that other people are thinking but they don't want to say.
Yeah, Trump and him are very, very similar.
Yeah. And then and okay, I would even compare his content to like Jordan Peterson's kind of like clean your room kind of shit. Like and so I want to talk about whether Andrew Tate's content is currently filling a hole in society that was previously carved out by third wave feminism and like the breaking down masculine roles.
I feel like I definitely agree. I think there's a subset of men that definitely felt left behind. They felt bitter when women started to want to reclaim, like not even reclaim, just claim the power that men had been taken away from them for like centuries, basically. And they felt that they felt bitter that what was once theirs for them to control has now become extremely controversial if they were to do the exact same things they were doing maybe 20 years ago. And Andrew Tate has become like the shining light,
the savior.
Exactly, the shining light of these kind of men.
And because he's so extreme, right, he captures like the extreme side of people and then maybe the less extreme side of people.
Yeah.
It's like this.
I think why he has so many followers and why so many people support him, because like you said, people who can articulate the point very well but talk much of baloney will not get as much fame as him. So the reason why he does have this fame is because, I think it's because he says things that no one else dares to say, but they're all feeling in their heart. So, like you said, third wave feminism came along, and then, the women who tried to reclaim power over their own rights and stuff, some people overdid it. So now they are trying to push for the fact that, women actually should control more than what they should actually control. They're trying to say women should have even more than equal say. They should have this and that, and they should be allowed to just stay at home and work and have all this say in the matter. So Andrew Tate is just defending this group of men who are, they feel pretty shit about this whole situation recently, and that's why so many people are like responding so well, because no one else dares to say it and says it in such a strong way like it. Yeah.
I would say, right, that what happened, like namely with, let's say, the idea of toxic masculinity, right? The fact that people were criticizing like traditional masculinity and having to be stoic and strong, like in the male sense, and like have power essentially, right? There was this pushback, and then it went over the edge, right, to the point where feminine males were the ones that were being like celebrated, so to speak, like with the creation of like not creation, but the surfacing of people like James Charles, for example. Even like the celebration of more feminine males like Timothy Chalamet, Harry Styles, like with the dude. Have you seen Harry Styles in a dress?
Yeah.
I think he rocks it though.
Yeah, I don't think there's any issue, but it's the over celebration of this, and then what people thought, right, was that this was true liberation for men. That now men, having broken the restrictive barriers of traditional masculine roles, would be more free to express themselves. But then I felt like what happened was that since men are temperamentally masculine, like the majority of them, they now felt like, wait, this is not what I want, and then this is like so awkward for me, and now everybody's celebrating these feminine males, but then where did all the masculinity go? And then Andrew Tate comes along and says, boom, you need to you need to take care of your woman, like that kind of thing.
I think the problem is that
Yeah.
it's the rise of these feminine men is not the problem. Is the other hand that the masculine man and masculinity in general is being weaponized. So now they are looking down on people who are overly masculine and they call it toxic masculinity. I don't deny the fact that if gay men or like Harry Styles want to act feminine, they can do that, and if that makes them happy, then everyone, all for it, right? But you should not be like flaming masculine men because of the rise of feminine men. You should just accept everyone for who they are. And personally, I believe in the dynamic of the men being more masculine lah. So for example, and obviously because that runs with the fact that physically, I mean, this is a fact that men are stronger than women, right? So wouldn't it make more sense for the man to take the more masculine role most of the time if he's physically stronger and that kind of thing? So that's just my viewpoint. But not saying I actually said this, but like, for example, if you say, oh, I think I can definitely beat this girl in badminton because she's a girl, people are like flaming it for saying, oh, like that's so misogynistic, blah 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 blah. I'm not saying I definitely can. But like I'm saying that me saying that is not completely untrue also, because I mean, if she's a national player and she beats me, that's fair play, right? Because she's better than me. She's levels better than me, so that's fine. That's fine. But if you take the average badminton male and female, I think we all know who's going to win. So, but some people refuse to accept that because they're so deluded and obsessed with the fact that there must be complete equality between men and women. They don't even look at the fact that there are physical differences that cannot be denied. Yeah.
I feel like
they'll just get cancelled. No.
I feel like Trump led the way, because he was the first one that he made truth valueless. You didn't have to spout the truth for you to be popular, because he lied constantly. I think Andrew Tate just took that to the next level by saying it's not even truth anymore. It's just stuff that is blatantly more. It's not even. Because in terms of Trump, there's facts and there's lies, right? But Andrew Tate is dealing more in the realm of morality and stuff like that. So he takes that to the next level and just says stuff that is blatantly stuff you wouldn't even think about saying, and just says it. And by him saying it and being so popular, it makes the extremes much more normalized, so that people start
to shift.
Yeah, he starts to shift where people are thinking from here all the way to the right, so that the left becomes very weird.
Yeah, so the downside of that is that people who, for example, are clinically depressed or really identify as feminine, like guys, they suffer. So that's the downside of his way of talking. But the upside is that there's a general shift in mindset because of how much influence he has to restore this masculine man not being a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, to some extent, well, it's tough to fully quantify it, but I think that that the feminism stuff pulled to the extreme first, and then so there was a strong pull to one side, and then with the surfacing of people like Andrew Tate, I don't want to say that it balanced out, because that's kind of like saying that he was.
Yeah, it's hard to quantify.
It's hard to quantify lah. But at the same time, if it was only on one side, then it would be way too skewed already. Then you have so the opposite of Andrew Tate is accepting that everybody, if they decide that they are depressed, that kind of thing, and telling people that it's okay, it's more than okay to be depressed. You should. In fact, you should.
Yeah, it's to the point that it's even it's kind of cool to be depressed. Some people.
Yeah, correct. That kind of thing. Yeah. So it's two extremes lah, and I think Andrew Tate simply provides a large stone in the other scale. Whether it balances out, I'm not so sure. Whether Andrew Tate is kind of pushing it too far now, I'm also unable to quantify. But I guess the right response lah for the for the people who are genuinely trying to figure out what's going on is to take his words with a pinch of salt, see where his views are valuable, and then apply them.
Yeah. So you take what you agree with, and then you disagree what you disagree with, and you find a middle ground.
Yeah.
and then that's probably the best route, right?
I think the problem with society now is that like people are looking for a way to like they don't necessarily know what their own opinions are, so they find someone whose opinions are really fully formed with solid talking points behind them, so that they can to get behind. Which is why it's so like instead of there being like a sizable amount of people in the middle ground and like some people and like it should be a normal distribution curve, right? But instead it's like two peaks in both extremes.
Yeah.
So, the thing that really gets me, right, is that I really hate it when conversations devolve into just, are you Andrew Tate supporter, or are you not Andrew Tate supporter? That's the most stupid thing to ask somebody, because nobody is fully an Andrew Tate supporter. Nobody is fully not Andrew Tate supporter. I refuse to admit that somebody exists out there who disagrees with 100% of what Andrew Tate says. It's not possible. So that's the thing, right? It's like, and this is the reason why I directed the conversation this way all this time. It's because I personally feel like the focus of conversations around Andrew Tate's views should never ever be about whether like you support Andrew Tate as a person or not. It should just be his ideas, and then you separate the wheat from the chaff, and then you extract what is good and you throw away what's bad, and then you do it that way. And then it fights against like this whole like following people like wholesale, like, and then pushing to the extremes,
But to defend Andrew Tate, right, I think the reason why he's a smart guy, obviously. So the reason why he doesn't phrase his words more carefully and find a more reasonable middle ground that everyone will agree with is because he knows that if he does it in such a gentle way, society will not react accordingly. And the people who are still feminine and have all these, masculine men are bad views will just continue thinking that. So he needs a very large punch to like make a very clear point, a very like stunning point that will like get people like to start thinking. That's why he says it like that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not that he doesn't change his work carefully. He does, but he intentionally chooses to phrase his words in a way that's
so sad, isn't it?
It's quite inflammatory.
I feel like, as much as it is what it is, right? I'm just sad that like it's to a point where this is how society has to be shaped. Like, you have to be this kind of personality to even get people to bat an eye, or like, to make any form of change, which I don't know. I don't know how to feel, because on one hand I feel like I don't know. When you're so extreme, right? The good you create is huge, but so it's the
because people are stubborn. He accounts for the fact that people are.
His extremity just makes his message lose all nuance. There's no nuance in his messages.
Thank you everybody so much for watching. I am satisfied with this discussion about Andrew Tate. Thank you to both of you for being here as well. And I'll see you in the next episode of The Extreme Exchange. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for having us, Ben.